I think it has a shot at being the most memorable product unveil ever.
Elon Musk stepped onto the stage with a sense of theatrical timing that has come to define his public appearances. But what followed diverged sharply from the familiar rhythm of product updates and incremental reveals. The unveiling of a Tesla motorhome was not merely another addition to the company's expanding catalog of electric vehicles. It was a moment that redefined expectations about mobility, lifestyle, and the very architecture of transportation. The vehicle itself emerged not as a novelty, but as a bold statement, signaling a convergence of sustainability, autonomy, and domestic living in a way that had not previously been attempted at scale. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The motorhome's design immediately set it apart from conventional recreational vehicles. Rather than adopting the bulky, box-like aesthetic typically associated with RVs, Tesla introduced a streamlined, aerodynamic form that resembled a cross between a futuristic coach and an elongated version of its electric trucks. The exterior featured smooth metallic surfaces, seamlessly integrated solar panels, and a panoramic glass structure that blurred the boundary between interior and exterior environments. This was not simply a vehicle meant for travel, it was conceived as a moving habitat, engineered to harmonize with its surroundings while maintaining the efficiency expected of Tesla's electric platforms. Inside, the experience shifted dramatically from what most would associate with a motorhome. The interior was minimalist yet deeply functional, drawing from Tesla's established design philosophy while extending it into a fully livable space. Modular furniture systems allowed the layout to transform depending on the needs of the occupant, transitioning from a lounge to a sleeping area to a workspace with fluid ease. Embedded technology was omnipresent yet unobtrusive, with touch-sensitive surfaces replacing traditional controls and a centralized AI system managing everything from climate to lighting to energy consumption. The emphasis was not on luxury in the conventional sense, but on intelligent design that adapted to human behavior. One of the most striking aspects of the reveal was the integration of autonomous driving capabilities. The motorhome was presented not just as a vehicle that could drive itself, but as a system that could fundamentally alter the relationship between travel and time. With full self-driving functionality at its core, the motorhome allowed occupants to engage in daily activities while in motion, effectively eliminating the traditional constraints of long-distance travel. The concept of a road trip was reimagined as a seamless continuation of everyday life, where movement no longer required active participation from the driver. Energy independence emerged as another defining feature of the motorhome. Tesla showcased an advanced battery system combined with solar generation capabilities that allowed the vehicle to operate off-grid for extended periods. This was not positioned as a supplementary feature, but as a central pillar of the design. The motorhome could generate, store, and manage its own energy, reducing reliance on external infrastructure and enabling a level of autonomy that aligned with broader trends toward decentralized living. The implications of this were profound, particularly in regions where access to reliable energy sources is limited or inconsistent. The reveal also highlighted the integration of Tesla's broader ecosystem. The motorhome was not an isolated product, but part of a network that included home energy systems, charging infrastructure, and software platforms. Owners could sync their motorhome with their residential energy systems, allowing for a continuous flow of data and energy between fixed and mobile environments. This created a unified experience where the distinction between home and vehicle became increasingly blurred, suggesting a future in which mobility and habitation are deeply interconnected. As the presentation unfolded, it became clear that this motorhome was not intended to compete directly with traditional RV manufacturers. Instead, it represented a redefinition of the category itself. By leveraging advances in electric propulsion, software, and materials science, Tesla positioned the motorhome as a new class of product that transcended existing classifications. This approach challenged established industry norms and raised questions about how other manufacturers might respond to such a disruptive entry. The audience reaction underscored the significance of the moment. What began as curiosity quickly evolved into a recognition that this was more than a conceptual exercise. The motorhome appeared production-ready, with specifications and capabilities that suggested a clear path to market. This immediacy added weight to the reveal, transforming it from a speculative glimpse into the future, into a tangible shift in the present. The implications for the automotive industry were immediate and far-reaching. Traditional manufacturers, already grappling with the transition to electric vehicles, now faced the prospect of a new competitive landscape that extended beyond cars and trucks into the realm of mobile living. The motorhome introduced a level of integration and technological sophistication that would be difficult to replicate without significant investment and a rethinking of existing design paradigms. Beyond the automotive sector, the reveal also resonated within the broader context of housing and urban development. The idea of a fully self-sustaining, mobile living space challenged conventional notions of permanence and location. It suggested a future in which individuals could choose to live nomadically without sacrificing comfort or connectivity, redefining the relationship between people and place. This concept aligned with emerging trends toward remote work and flexible lifestyles, amplifying its relevance in a rapidly changing world. The technological innovations embedded within the motorhome extended beyond propulsion and autonomy. Tesla introduced advanced materials designed to enhance durability while reducing weight, contributing to both efficiency and longevity. The use of smart glass technology allowed for dynamic control of transparency and insulation, adapting to environmental conditions in real time. These features were not presented as isolated advancements, but as components of a cohesive system that prioritized performance and user experience. Connectivity played a central role in the motorhome's functionality. High-speed internet access, powered by satellite networks, ensured that occupants remained connected regardless of location. This capability was essential to the vision of the motorhome as a fully functional living and working environment. It enabled seamless communication, access to digital services, and integration, with cloud-based systems reinforcing the idea that mobility need not come at the expense of connectivity. The reveal also touched on safety, an area where Tesla has consistently emphasized innovation. The motorhome incorporated advanced sensor arrays and redundant systems designed to enhance both driving safety and occupant protection. The autonomous driving system was supported by a network of cameras, radar, and AI algorithms that continuously analyze the surrounding environment. In addition, the structural design of the vehicle prioritized crash protection, incorporating reinforced materials and energy-absorbing zones. As the presentation continued, attention turned to the user interface, which served as the primary means of interaction with the motorhome systems. Tesla introduced a new generation of its software platform, tailored specifically for the needs of a mobile living environment. The interface was intuitive and highly customizable, allowing users to control various aspects of the motorhome through a combination of touch, voice, and automated routines. This level of personalization was central to the overall experience, enabling the motorhome to adapt to individual preferences and habits. The environmental implications of the motorhome were also a key focus. By combining electric propulsion with renewable energy generation, Tesla positioned the vehicle as a sustainable alternative to traditional RVs, which are often associated with high fuel consumption and emissions. The motorhome's ability to operate off-grid further reduced its environmental impact, minimizing the need for external resources and infrastructure. This approach aligned with Tesla's broader mission of accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. The reveal did not shy away from addressing the practical aspects of living in a motorhome. Tesla demonstrated how the vehicle's systems work together to manage water, waste, and climate control in an efficient and user-friendly manner. Advanced filtration and recycling systems ensured that resources were used responsibly, while automated processes reduced the need for manual intervention. These features were essential to the motorhome's viability as a long-term living solution. Throughout the presentation, there was a clear emphasis on redefining expectations. The motorhome was not presented as a niche product for a specific demographic, but as a versatile platform capable of serving a wide range of use cases. From full-time living to extended travel to mobile workspaces, the vehicle's adaptability was a central theme. This versatility expanded its potential appeal and reinforced its position as a transformative innovation. The broader cultural impact of the reveal was evident in the immediate response from various sectors. The concept of a Tesla motorhome captured the imagination of audiences beyond the traditional automotive sphere, sparking discussions about the future of travel, work, and living. It represented a convergence of trends that had been developing independently, bringing them together in a single, cohesive vision. As the event drew to a close, the significance of what had been unveiled became increasingly clear. The Tesla motorhome was not merely a new product, it was a manifestation of a broader shift toward integrated, sustainable, and autonomous systems. It challenged existing boundaries and introduced new possibilities, setting the stage for a reimagining of how people move, live, and interact with their environment. The atmosphere surrounding the reveal continued to evolve even after the initial shock subsided, as observers began to process the deeper layers of what had just been introduced. The Tesla motorhome did not merely present itself as a technological product, it embodied a philosophical shift in how mobility could be understood. Movement was no longer framed as a temporary state between two fixed points, but as a continuous condition in which life itself could unfold. This reframing carried with it an entirely new set of assumptions about ownership, freedom, and the structure of daily routines. What became increasingly apparent was the way the motorhome redefined personal space. Traditional vehicles, no matter how advanced, have always been constrained by their primary function as tools for transport. Even the most luxurious interiors have typically been designed with the understanding that they serve a secondary, transient purpose. The Tesla motorhome disrupted this hierarchy by placing habitation at the center of its design philosophy. Every element within the vehicle seemed to reinforce the idea that this was not simply a place to pass through, but a place to exist fully, with intention and continuity. This shift had subtle yet powerful implications for how individuals might begin to perceive distance. In a world where travel often carries a sense of fatigue or interruption, the motorhome suggested an alternative narrative in which distance becomes almost irrelevant. The experience of moving from one location to another was no longer something to endure, but something to inhabit. Time spent in transit could be reclaimed, reshaped, and integrated into the broader rhythm of life rather than standing apart from it. The concept of permanence also came under quiet but significant pressure. For centuries, the idea of home has been tied to fixed geography, rooted in specific locations that define identity and belonging. The Tesla motorhome introduced a fluidity that challenged this deeply embedded notion. If a living space could move seamlessly across landscapes while maintaining comfort, connectivity, and autonomy, then the meaning of home itself began to expand. It was no longer bound to coordinates on a map, but could exist wherever the individual chose to be. This redefinition extended into the psychological realm, where the boundaries between stability and movement have traditionally been sharply drawn. The motorhome blurred these boundaries in a way that suggested a new form of equilibrium, one that did not rely on stillness. Instead, stability could be found within motion, anchored not by location, but by the consistency of experience. This idea carried a quiet but profound resonance, hinting at a future in which mobility does not disrupt identity but becomes an integral part of it. Another layer of significance emerged in the way the motorhome addressed the relationship between technology and intimacy. Modern devices have often been criticized for creating distance between individuals and their environments, introducing layers of abstraction that can feel impersonal. Yet the Tesla motorhome appeared to take a different approach, using technology to enhance rather than diminish the sense of connection. The seamless integration of systems created an environment that responded intuitively to human presence, fostering a sense of harmony rather than intrusion. This harmony was particularly evident in the way the motorhome interacted with its surroundings. Rather than isolating occupants from the external world, it invited engagement through its design. Expansive glass surfaces, adaptive lighting, and responsive environmental controls worked together to create a living space that felt both protected and open. The boundary between inside and outside became permeable, allowing the environment to play an active role in the experience of living within the vehicle. The implications for creativity and productivity were equally compelling. By transforming travel time into usable, adaptable space, the motorhome created new opportunities for how work and leisure could be structured. The traditional separation between professional and personal environments began to dissolve, replaced by a more fluid arrangement in which both could coexist without conflict. This shift suggested a reimagining of how individuals might organize their days, free from the constraints imposed by static locations. There was also an underlying sense that the motorhome represented a broader evolution in design thinking. Rather than focusing solely on performance metrics or aesthetic appeal, Tesla appeared to be exploring the deeper question of how technology could shape human experience in meaningful ways. The motorhome was not just efficient or visually striking, it was intentional, crafted with a clear vision of how people might live within it. This emphasis on experience over specification marked a subtle but important departure from conventional approaches. The reveal also hinted at a changing relationship between consumers and the products they choose to incorporate into their lives. In the past, vehicles have often been seen as possessions, defined by ownership and utility. The Tesla motorhome suggested a different kind of relationship, one that was more dynamic and participatory. The vehicle was not just something to be used, but something to be lived with, to interact with, and to adapt alongside. This shift carried with it a sense of partnership, as though the motorhome was an active participant in the user's daily life. As observers continued to reflect on what they had seen, the idea of scale began to take on new meaning. The motorhome operated on multiple levels simultaneously, functioning as a vehicle, a home, a workspace, and a technological platform. This convergence of roles created a sense of density that was both efficient and expansive, compressing multiple aspects of life into a single, cohesive system. It challenged the assumption that these functions needed to be separated, demonstrating instead that they could coexist in a unified form. The emotional response to the reveal was also noteworthy, as it extended beyond admiration for technological achievement into a more nuanced sense of possibility. There was an undercurrent of excitement that seemed to stem not just from what the motorhome was, but from what it represented. It served as a tangible expression of ideas that had long been considered aspirational, bringing them into a form that could be experienced and understood in concrete terms. This sense of possibility was amplified by the way the motorhome aligned with broader cultural shifts. As individuals increasingly seek flexibility and autonomy in their lives, the appeal of a mobile, self-sustaining living space becomes more apparent. The motorhome did not create these desires, but it responded to them in a way that felt both timely and transformative. It offered a vision that resonated with existing aspirations while pushing them further into new territory. The interplay between simplicity and complexity was another defining characteristic of the motorhome. On the surface, the experience appeared straightforward and intuitive, with systems that operated seamlessly and without friction. Beneath this simplicity, however, lay a network of sophisticated technologies working in concert to deliver that experience. This balance between visible ease and underlying complexity was a hallmark of thoughtful design, ensuring that the user remained at the center of the experience without being overwhelmed by the mechanisms that made it possible. The reveal also underscored the importance of narrative in shaping how new technologies are received. The Tesla motorhome was not introduced as an isolated innovation, but as part of a larger story about the future of living and movement. This narrative provided context and meaning, allowing observers to understand not just what the motorhome did, but why it mattered. It framed the vehicle as a step toward a broader transformation rather than a standalone achievement. As the conversation around the motorhome continued to unfold, it became clear that its impact extended beyond any single domain. It touched on questions of design, technology, culture, and identity, weaving them together into a cohesive vision that felt both ambitious and grounded. The motorhome did not attempt to answer every question it raised, but it opened the door to new ways of thinking about how those questions might be approached. There was a quiet confidence in the way the motorhome was presented, a sense that it did not need to rely on exaggeration or spectacle to convey its significance. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, do you like Elon Musk's Tesla motorhome idea? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.